And then the second match will be another PvP match, Dominion versus Dominion, with an increased population. Those will each be 18 minutes. So the first training session will be about 10 with no scoring. Scoring will be turned off. The match one and match two, once those start, will be 18 minutes each with scoring. And we'll talk more about those as they kick off. Nothing you need to know for now, except that you can get started and start getting used to the test. After the playtest is over, we'll run a final optional match. And if there are any questions or issues you have, as mentioned, please use the chat to the right. So today we have a couple special guests, both our Metagravity CEO and our head of studio, to give us a development update. I guess I would kick it off at the top of the hour with a question for Rash, really about scale. So, what have we accomplished so far in terms of scale, and what will we see in today's playtest that is kind of the culmination of what we've been doing over the last year with scale?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, John. Hey, guys, good to be here and good to be doing the second playtest first off. And thanks for coming. So earlier today we had the first playtest, and it was great because the team hit over 12K concurrence in the session, which is an important milestone, and it really sort of solidifies a lot of the work that's been happening over the past year around building and optimizing, in particular, optimizing the client side of things with Unreal Engine 5 to achieve the kind of density and have achieved the kind of replication volume that we needed to achieve in order to support even a partial view of a world which in its totality includes thousands of concurrents participating in a single session. These engines were just not designed for this kind of scale. So the team has been working really hard on that, and it was really great to see that sort of culminating in over 12K session. That's nowhere near the end, but it's a great, sort of um, uh, stop along the way, I would say, because that puts us at what is essentially a new world record. In the past, the highest number of concurrents that's been achieved is around 10,000, which I did with my previous company and in partnership with CCP Games, makers of EVE Online. We hit 10,000, and we did that kind of in a very public way at GDC. What we're doing now here with Edge of Chaos puts us in a really strong position to go out early next year and set the record in a more public and more official way that kind of breaks that barrier. But this is also a great milestone because it lets the team sort of pause now and think about what amazing gameplay mechanics and game modes can be built on top of this capability. This is usually it's at the end of the cycle of a game's development that you start to do optimizations, and we've sort of put that in the front because we have to sort of deal with scale and show that scale is possible. But this now means that we can now get to the interesting and fun work, which is trying out different game mechanics and systems and modes and iterating on those, working with you guys in the community to continue to do these kinds of events, but in this time getting more of the feedback in terms of the depth and breadth of the gameplay itself, in order for us to sort of take us closer to that journey of the vision for this massive hyperscale living breathing world that we're building with Edge of Chaos.
Yeah, thanks. And speaking of kind of the emergent world and the growing world, what are the next big milestones for the Edge of Chaos, not just game, but ecosystem? So there's the Ancients launch coming up, there's the Apocalypse launch on the horizon. How will those roll out and how do those sort of tie together?
Yeah, I mean that's a really good question. We've been teasing a little bit about the ancients along the way, and there's a much bigger reveal on exactly what it is planned for Friday. But if you go back to the vision of Edge of Chaos, it's always been to build this massive world that's self-sustaining, that can exist in perpetuity, outliving even us as its creators. I mean individuals, but even Metagravity as a company. That kind of longevity, and that's essential because if we're going to go towards this future of the metaverse, and if we're really talking about networks of virtual economies, you're not going to own things in a virtual economy if that can disappear inevitably when the company behind it ceases to exist. That's the case of Web3 metaverses today. So the ancients are an important step in that direction. They're an NFT and they're very closely tied to the game and the lore and the gameplay, but it is also a NFT that'll give you increasing control over the network underpinning Edge of Chaos that keeps Edge of Chaos decentralized and keeps it in existence as a self-sustaining fabric on which the Edge of Chaos game, the world, the economy, the simulation sits and lives and breathes. So really, that ancients is a major part of it. But along that journey with the roadmap, we have the apocalypse game mode, which is sort of, if you're going to feel a taste of that with this test, and you have been those who participated so far. But really, it's leading up to December and then into the new year that you will start to see what that game mode is really about. And it really is a game mode where you can have your little guild or your friend group, and you can set up a fiefdom in this world. You can build up your economy, you can grow it, you can participate in that decentralized economy, you can fight AI enemies, you can fight other players, all in this massive single shard with thousands, if not tens of thousands of players and beyond. We'll keep scaling up, we'll keep bringing additional features to this game mode as we move from this, chivalry style PvP, PvE game all the way up to a crafting with survival and so on, and underpinned by the ancient nodes, because really they are just NFTs, they're nodes that allow you to run this chaos game as a decentralized. It'll be the first of its kind. I mean, yes, games exist which are Web3 and which have a degree of decentralization, all the assets are NFTs. But until you take the simulation of the game itself, until you take the game services, the game backend, and decentralize those, you don't really have a decentralized game, because that has to run on an Amazon server somewhere. And the moment the company stops paying the bill, that Amazon server disappears and your world is gone. What we're creating here is something super exciting. This is a world that will live, breathe, and exist on its own. And the ancients are an important step in that direction, in addition to their participation in various ways within the game. But then that game mode that we're building and launching will evolve towards that full blown MMO over time.
Great, thank you. And then maybe a question here for Gabalenzi, our head of studio.
Hello.
So hello, welcome, welcome back. What are some of the in-development features we might see in the next tests? I know there's been discussion of different victory conditions, but anything like that you can give a hint of for what we might expect next in the coming months.
Yeah, for sure. So, as Rash has been saying, we've really focused on getting these core technology issues cleaned up, particularly on the game engine side, making sure that Unreal can handle the sheer amount of characters on the screen at once and the actual scale of the world. Now we've got through that, we're gonna pivot to really working on the kind of the core game experience. And really, what we're going to be launching next year is the beginnings of what will be a persistent world experience, where the map that you're looking at now will be actually present and up 24/7. And we will have factions that will be able to go into the world. You will join one of these factions, and then you will compete with other factions to take ownership of these individual settlements across the entirety of the map. Each of these different settlements will have different victory conditions and different ways and different interesting gameplay to actually capture them. We're also looking at adding an enemy AI faction, this Lord of Chaos faction. So you will be fighting AI to take initial control of these particular settlements. But once you've captured them, then you will be defending them against other player factions who can try and take these settlements and fortifications away from you. Moving on further in subsequent updates, we're also going to be looking at providing the ability to upgrade and defend these places so that you can secure them over time. And then on the core gameplay side, we're going to be dramatically improving the actual core combat, which we haven't touched for a while because we've been focusing